Good day, everybody. This is John Scarborough and one of my cats running around. I wanted to do a little talking today about this pad we're getting ready to put in. It's finally happening. It seems like an eternity. We started on this project with this property that we're doing. It's a mess right now because it's always a mess when you're building. But we started with that right there out in this bare place. Probably, it was almost a year ago now. It will be a year in probably about middle of December. It'll be a year, and right now we're in about in the middle. I think it's November the 20th. So yeah, it's been close to a year. So it's been a long time coming, and it's been quite a little while since we've finished this this right here. We've got the roof on and got all these set. It's just been real slow going. You kind of have to continue to run a business and do everything else you got to do while you're building on. So, but anyway, I kind of wanted to show everybody what we're doing here. What we've got right here is about 24 feet between the front there, all the way to the back. And that's going to stay closed. See, it's all under the roof and it's got a pad on it. That right there, I meant opened. That's going to stay wide open. You see we got a nice big area there spanned across. And we've got from this post over to that post is a 40-foot opening. So what that allows us to do is bring in long, big joints of anything and set it right inside here. Anything we got to do, big logs, big pieces of wood, big pieces of pipe, whatever we're doing, we're able to bring it right in and lay it in. And then right about the front of that and the front of that, we're actually going to build a wall, and we're going to go across all of that. And there's going to be a wall coming across there, and then there will be a 14-foot door right there in the middle. And the same thing will be on the back. So the inside of the shop, the closed-in area in the shop, will be a 40 by 40 pad, or will be a 40 by 40 shop. The pad will come all the way out here. This out here is about 56, all the way to there, about 56 by 24. So the 24 is across there, right there. Like I said, everybody, y'all excuse the mess. It's a lot of work trying to keep stuff clean while trying to build and everything else. So y'all just excuse that. But anyway, so that's what that's going to be. Is there's going to be a closed shop in here, and then basically this is going to be an open shop. All it is a pad and a roof, which for me is 90% of what I need in a shop. Most of my work, and that's why I've got almost 50% of my shop will be out here. Will be all out in the open. And I find that very handy because I can come in with equipment and lay stuff in on this side. I can come in from the front here and lay stuff in. I can come in all the way around, and whether it's raining, whether it's and if it's hot outside and I just want to get out of the heat, get in the shade, no matter what it's doing, I'm able to keep working. I don't have to worry about it getting too hot. We're about 4 o'clock now, and the sun is over there in the west, of course, but so the sun's going to start about that point. It's about 3 o'clock when it starts really getting inside. But even unless it's just middle of the summer, it's still not too bad. But I have found that until about 3 o'clock, even in the middle of the summer, that this is not too bad. You're not too hot in here underneath this. And the roof is high enough off of you that even without insulation, we're still fairly cool under here. So I do believe this is going to be a really handy shop, being wide open like this. But I've got the benefit of an opened platform of a shop, but at the same time in here I'll have a 40 by 40 closed shop that I'll be able to do. And you know, you want a fully enclosed shop if you're building you a shop. You do want something that's enclosed, and the reason is now, like I said, it's going to have two 14-foot doors in the front and in the back, so that's going to give me access through it. But you do want that because when it gets really, really cold out, you know, you kind of want to have a place that you can get in, but also you want to have a place you can put, you know, like for me, it's a welding machine, and then I do have some woodworking tools and things like that, a plasma cutter, the stuff like that. And then you want to be able to lock that stuff away too, to keep people from being able to steal it. So all of that in here will be the majority of my tools in here. And I'll have the ability to do some work, kind of like a bay coming right through here, through the middle. I have the ability to use that and do work in it. But all of this out here will stay wide open, and I'll have the ability to come in and park tractors, park equipment under here. So I'm not just using it as a shop, but I've also got the ability to just start that stuff up and move it right out of the way and go to work on it, you know. And one of the reasons why it's so nice is being open like that is a lot of times, even though I have a MIG machine, a lot of times I'll end up using my welding machine on my trailer as well. Like I'll kind of end up using them both. They're kind of set up for two different things sometimes, and I'm right in the middle of a job, or sometimes I'll have another guy there with me. And so it's just me, and you know, you're able to use both welding machines. Well, you don't want that smoke just blowing all over you and filling your shop up. So even if I'm welding in here and I got my door open, I can still have my machine out here, and it's out of the rain. So if it's pouring rain out here, and in the winter time here in Louisiana, we do get a decent amount of rain, you know, and it's kind of nice to be able to come in here and be able to keep work going, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're doing work on the farm, or whether you're doing work trying to make a little bit of extra income off of it, or whether maybe you're doing some mechanic work even. Whatever you're doing, it gives you the ability to keep working, whether it's night, whether it's hot outside, whether it's rain, no matter what it is. So that's why a shop is really nice, and I think it's a worthy investment for me and for a lot of people, really, because I'm able to work on my own stuff. I'm able to rebuild my own stuff. It's all stuff I like to do. If you didn't like to do it, then you know, you might not would do it. But if you like to do it, why not go ahead and set yourself up for it? I'm also able to do that. I like to weld. I have the ability and the skill to weld. So I do that for some money sometimes. And if things get rough or things get bad, it's nice to know that I can fall back on that sometimes, you know, however that might be. But it's also really handy just having it, as now that we're in farming, it's really handy having that skill, because there's so many things that I'm able to build equipment and stuff for myself that's far cheaper for me to build it than it is to buy it. So it's just nice having a shop for that. So there's just a lot of different things that I can do in here, rebuild hydraulics and everything else. So it's really nice to be able to get out of the weather and do that. So back to everything that I'll have in here. You do want an enclosed space if possible, you know, but it's really nice being able to split the two, you know. So with this enclosed space, the downsides to having an enclosed space is, of course, it's enclosed. You've got four sides, and maybe you might have a couple of doors, but it's enclosed and there's not a lot you can do. The other downside is that you don't have nearly as much light, whereas out here, you see there's the wall right there. So I'm kind of standing where I'm kind of standing close to where the wall will be, right about there. Will be about where the wall is. So you can see it doesn't look like much when I'm standing here, but I mean, you can tell 24 foot. So the point is all of that area right there, I have lots of light, substantial amount of light that I can work in. And that's usually what I find myself working, is right at the front of my door. It's cooler there because it can get a breeze. There's plenty of light and everything. So I usually find myself working like that. And that's kind of the downfall of an enclosed shop, okay? But we've kind of taken care of some of that. Right here on the sides, all the way across, we're gonna run some clear plastic panel. And that's gonna bring in a lot of light, especially across this south side right here, because that's kind of the east and that's kind of the west. I'm not exactly sure. I think west is technically straight that way. But the sun stays on that south side, and that's gonna bring in a lot of natural light. So that, I do believe, well, I'm gonna show an update and let y'all see how it looks once I do get it walled up, okay? But I really think that that's going to bring in a lot of light, even in my enclosed area, okay? So that's kind of one of the downsides of having an enclosed shop, is the lack of light, or lack of natural light, because no light beats natural light, or at least not for me in a shop. I don't know what it is, it just doesn't. okay? But anyway, so that, I think I've kind of licked that to a point where I don't have to worry about that problem as much, okay? So then what's the next downfall? The lack of wall space, you know, no, not wall space. That's actually an upside. The lack of being in an enclosed shop is the lack of, what is the other downside? I just mentioned it. Y'all remember it. Anyway, the point is a lot of my other downsides will be taken care of either out here, or I've taken care of them with having natural light. So then what are the upsides to having an enclosed shop? So why don't I just have it all completely like just a pole barn with a pad here? Well, the upsides to having that is wall space, okay? I've got wall space here. I've got a full wall there. I'll have a full wall all the way up to my doors there, and another wall right here all the way up to my doors. And I'll have walls all the way across here except for my doors. So that wall space gives you the ability to keep clutter out of your shop. Wall space is as important as a big open area that you can work in, okay? So it is actually important. Another upside is the lack of wind, okay? If I'm out here, I can just about promise you, just like I was just now saying, that I don't want to be welding with my welding machine in here, my gas welding machine in here, because the smoke will build up. Okay, well, the same thing goes for I don't want to be welding with my MIG out here most of the time, because even a breeze will blow that gas away from your MIG or flux core or whatever you're using. It would blow that gas away and won't let you use it. And that's why most people in the industry, you'll only see MIG and wire and things like that being used inside of like a fab shop. So that's one of the upsides of having an enclosed shop, okay? So that's kind of the reason for getting a mix like this, is you're able to get kind of the best of all your worlds, you know what I mean? You've got an enclosed shop, you got all your wall space, you know, you've got all of this ability, but then you've also got an open shop, you know, and extra room. You can open those doors and it's all one big shop and it all flows well. You know, my crane will be able to go in and out of that door right there. My gantry crane, I'll be able to have it in here and bring it back out of there. My tractors will be able to come in from any old side there, come in from the back, anything, or tractor. I'm just trying to be an optimist, guys, saying tractors. But anyway, so the point is that I'm trying to, with this shop, I'm trying to beat take all the downsides and make them to where they no longer exist, but then take all the upsides and you might say taxate on them, like get the best out of the upsides, okay? So back to the wall space here, just briefly, again, that was actually one of the reasons for using the containers, okay? The biggest reason for using the containers, guys, a lot of people say, well, then is that how I need to build my shop, is with containers? And I'm gonna say that's strictly up to you, okay? For me, for everything that I did, it worked out in my favor to use containers. Maybe I got a better deal than some people on the price of the containers, you know, maybe whatever you want to say. The biggest reasons why I decided to get the containers was simply because we got this piece of property. We're out in the middle of nowhere. Not really, but the point is there was no house, there was no building, there was nothing here, okay? We needed a place to store our stuff while we were building on, okay? Because, I mean, look at us. We're in a year's process now, because you can't just stop and build everything all at one time. You know, I can't anyway. I've got to continue to make a living. And that means I've got to work and continue to move forward. And we've got other stuff, like we just planted a bunch of garlic, 1,800 cloves of garlic. That's a video for another day. But the point is those are all things that we have to do to continue to move forward, okay? So I can't just stay continuously working on this. So that was a big deciding point on getting the containers. In fact, I would almost say that there's a chance I wouldn't have used the containers if it wasn't for the initial need of needing the storage, okay? So it worked out really nice. I set my forms, I set my containers where they needed to go, and then that's storage. It's immediate storage. I could immediately focus on working and doing everything else that I needed to do. and I wasn't worried, okay? I had the containers there. It didn't matter, all right? They were already enclosed and taken care of. All right, now I will say I got the cheaper ones because I got ones with holes in the roof and stuff like that. Even though it didn't have a lot of holes in the wall, you know, I kind of got the cherry pick, but it had holes and stuff in the roof, kind of a couple. No, I'm not talking about huge holes, just small holes. And that allowed me to get a much cheaper price. And I did that because I knew I was putting a roof over top of it. So temporarily I sealed those holes off with silicone, even though that it was actually MP1, but even though I know that that's not a good permanent solution, I knew that it didn't matter. It would get me by for however long. In this case, it was about, I don't know, 6 months or so, or may have been 4 months. It got me by and kept my stuff safe for that long. And that's kind of what's nice about silicone is if you're needing a temporary fix, it does work good for that, you know. But anyway, so I was able to do that and get a much cheaper price on my containers, okay? The next thing for me, of course, was added wall space, okay? This is a mess in here. I'm still moving everything out of my old shop into this shop, okay? But the wall space, okay, is huge in a shop. That's another one of the fundamental importance of a shop, okay? Now, it's taking a lot of work. I'm doing a lot. It's a mess right now, okay? Because I'm just kind of carrying it in and then figuring out where I want to hang it. And then I kind of have to figure this up, you know, weld these little clips on there and then screw the 2x4s on to get that to do right. But you see, the wall space gives me one wall here, okay, one wall there, and then the other side of the wall, okay? So if I come back out, I've got the 2 walls there and then the other side of this wall here. So that's 3 walls instead of having only 1 wall. If this would have been the front of my shop, you know, and I would have done a traditional shop, I would have had 1 wall, okay? Now I've got 3 walls, okay? So I would have actually had 2 if you included that. So I went from 2 walls, okay, for wall space to 6 walls for wall space, okay? That's huge when it comes to the organization of a shop because all your stuff can go along the walls here and all your stuff can go along the walls there. And then on the insides, you've got those other 2 walls that you can really just bring stuff in all the way across there. You can hang stuff on, you can set your shelves up, whatever you need to do to make that work for you. Okay, for me, it worked really well, okay? And I think it's just gonna get better, all right? So what we'll end up doing on both of these to make everything flow real well, I think, I'm still kind of playing around with this in my mind, but I think what I'm gonna do is right there between those 2 supports, we'll have to brace that up a little bit more, but I'm gonna end up cutting me like a mouse hole door, okay? It's gonna be a door right in there. And that's probably to the center of that door would probably be about 15 foot from that wall, okay? So that puts me farther off from that side, okay? So I'm gonna put my doorway there, and it's not gonna be a door, it's just gonna be an opening, okay? And it'd be the same thing on that other one. It's gonna be like right there. Be a little opening there, big enough to bring a pallet through. So if I wanna bring a pallet of feed or something, not feed, excuse me, a pallet of mineral or something like that in there, I'm able to do that. Or a pallet of Sackcrete or whatever I wanna do, I can bring it in there and store it, and everything flows well. I have a pallet jack, so I find that storing lots of stuff on pallets seems to work pretty good if you have pallet jacks. You can move stuff around really easy, bring it out in the open if you need to work on it, if you need to do something out here, and then bring it back in there. I've actually pulled some engines before, and I've had them on pallets and was able to move them around the way I needed to. So that would give me access in and out of those containers and basically turn it into part of, it's all one big flowing shop. So I've still got the benefit of the 6 walls, but I've also got the benefit of it being all one shop, okay? So for me, that was huge, all right? Like I said, I wouldn't have necessarily done it. I still think I would have, but I wouldn't have necessarily done it if I didn't need the extra space. Also, there was the, no, what I meant, yeah, if I didn't need the extra storage space. Also, there was there was not quite as much material. Like it was already one big unit of material. And as far as that much square footage in the material, for the price for me was the cheapest way to get that much extra square footage. Okay, I also got extra strength. Okay, it kind of gave me, it helped me to be able to save a little money on my on the metal that I would have used, that I would have bought to build this. Okay, I was able to save a little bit more there. Okay, but also I talked to my concrete guys and basically worked with them to where I saved quite a bit of money on my form work. I'm not saying that it would work for you, okay? But it happened to work out for me to where it saved them enough labor, you know, that I was able to save some money on that, quite a bit of money. Actually, it was enough money just in the savings on the concrete alone, not the concrete that I would have poured under there, but the savings on the labor cost that they would have charged me. I got all of the money back that I spent. You know, I already got it back on the containers. So they already paid for themselves like that. I don't know if that would work out in your favor for you. You just have to look and see. But for me, it really did work out that well. Okay. So then there was that savings. There's also the savings of I didn't have to pour concrete on both of those, you know, so that's 16 times 40. You know, you do the math on that. That's that much concrete, money in concrete that I saved, you know, that I didn't have to pour that much extra concrete, you know. I'll spend quite a bit of time on these floors, and that'll be a little bit softer on my knees, okay? But all of those things are not reasons in themselves to say, let me get containers and build a shop this way. But they were reasons when they all stacked up together. For me, they were enough reasons to say, yes, let me go ahead and do that. And let me tell you real quick about another reason that I did this. And I didn't really realize how nice it would be until after I got done. And that's the insulative effect. Okay, I got dual walls here. Okay, so first of all, I could insulate that if I wanted to. Okay, I've got dual walls, all right, and then dual walls there. That puts me right in the middle here. Okay, now of course I've got some heat that will come in there, but where I'm standing in my old shop, when I would stand up against, I mean, I could stand 4 foot from that wall, and I mean, I would just about sweat to death, even in March, okay? Because that metal would get so hot you couldn't even lay your hand on it. Okay, so that's kind of an insulative effect for me. It's going to make this shop so much cooler because everything's interior. The workload, everywhere you're going to be doing your main work, you're insulated, you're protected, it goes back to why you use a shop, why you build a shop in the first place, so that you're able to continue to work even when the elements wouldn't normally allow you to work. Okay, that's the biggest reason for a shop, even if you're not going to make any money. Okay, I'm probably going to make a little bit of money with this. It's definitely going to be a good backup plan, even if I don't. I thought it was a good place to invest some money. I had a little bit of extra lying around, not a lot, but a little bit, and I still had to be real careful and cautious on it, but I was able to pull it off after years of working and saving. Okay. But the point is, but then also up top, okay, most people would say that I wasted because I had a roof over top of it when it already had a roof. Well, I was able to save enough money by getting the cheaper ones with the holes that that top really didn't matter. I could actually use that for storage up there if I really wanted to, but it's also dual insulation, okay? Those containers are now insulated. All right, so even inside the containers are insulated. Out here is definitely insulated, right inside this work area. So I am really going to be protected from the heat. But then also, I'm on my east side here, this side, the east side. So I get a little bit of morning sun here, and then I don't get a whole lot. So this side's going to be insulated from the sun. And then the west side, I've got 24 foot out there in the front. That's helping to protect it from the sun. So I believe that this inside area right here is going to stay very nice and cool in the summertime. Now, in the wintertime, it's not necessarily going to be in my favor, but we do live in the south, so I'm more worried about the summer heat than I am about the winter cold. I can turn on a little heater quick and get that chill knocked off pretty quick usually. And usually, for me, all I got to do is get moving and working in the wintertime, and I'll stay warm most of the time. Okay, if it's colder than that, if it's too cold, I'm probably going to be sitting in a deer stand. So But anyway, so guys, I just kind of wanted to show that. I know this is a lengthy video. I really wanted to show all of that. This container right now is full of all of our stuff for our house that's going to go in our house. So I'm probably not going to use it for my shop until after that gets cleaned out and we build our house. This container was full of a lot of the stuff from my old shop, okay? But I've been able to clean it out. I'm working on right now getting it organized the way I want to, and I'll actually be able to utilize that. So I'm excited about that. The pad should be poured here pretty soon, okay? So that's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be Monday. They're going to come in here and pour it. So I'm really excited about that. It's cool enough, and I got a roof over it. They said that I really should probably wait a month before I do anything with it, which is not exciting in the fact that, I mean, obviously I can walk on it before a month, but I don't want to get any heavy equipment on it. I'm not excited in the fact that that it's going to be so long before I can really do anything in the shop, like start bringing in my heavier cranes, you know, my gantry crane and things like that. But I am excited because the slower the pad cures, the better it is for the pad and the less likely it is to crack, okay? So that's kind of why I opted to build the roof over it first and all like that, okay? So that's going to be really nice. I know everybody's probably wondering what in the world all of this is. I think I may have touched on it at one point, but I'm going to make another video here in just a minute, and I will post it another day. So y'all stay tuned for that. And I'm going to make a video just about that right there. So y'all just stay tuned on that. Basically what it's going to be is they're tie downs for my shop. So thanks everybody for listening to me ramble on. If you've made it this far in the video, you obviously have liked what you've seen. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.